From Tampa Bay's #1 news station, this is the Fox 13 4 o'clock news.
Hopefully a little helpful advice for you here. If you're late on your credit card payments, you're not alone because credit card debt is at an all-time high. It turns out that a lot of people have fallen behind on payments simply because they just don't have the cash. So attorney Jim Giardina with the Consumer Rights Law Group is joining us once again. And so Jim, today we're talking about credit card debt and how much average debt does the Floridian have out there these days?
In Florida, Chris, the average credit card debt is $8,400, almost $8,500 per person.
All right, per person, okay. That's a pretty high number. So what does someone do if they get to the end of the month and they just can't make that minimum payment? What do you do?
Well, you know, if you're having trouble paying your bills, you want to ask yourself, why am I having trouble? And if the answer is you're not living within your means, then you need a lifestyle change.
Right.
But the reality for a lot of people is that at the end of the month, there's just not enough money to satisfy the creditors, even living a modest lifestyle.
Yeah, especially if you have 2 or 3 cards with a balance like that that's gotten out of control. Yeah. Do the creditors have to give you a payment plan? Is that something they're required to do if you ask for it? Or?
Well, you know, when you say payment plan, every card sort of has a minimum payment, and
right.
those terms are regulated by federal law. They have to give you that. But if we're talking about when you're having trouble and you call your creditor and ask for a payment plan, there's no legal obligation that they have to give you a payment plan.
Yeah, they kind of already have given you that, I guess. So what happens if you can't pay and you call them and tell them? What's their recourse and what should you do?
Well, certainly at a certain point, they may be able to take you to court if you don't pay your bills. But the truth is, many credit card companies, many banks will work with a consumer. If you write to the bank and you tell them, you know, my situation is that there's not enough money at the end of the month.
I lost my job or something,
sure.
Something happened.
And you ask for your payment plan, you ask for a discount on the interest, something like that, the bank may give it to you. But if they don't, then that's when you write to them and you tell them, stop calling me, don't contact me again, don't write to me again.
How many years, though, can they continue to go after you? How long can they continue to try to get that payment?
The statute of limitations in the state of Florida is 5 years for a contract evidenced by an instrument in writing. That's credit cards. Most credit cards are 5 years. But the fact is that once you tell them, don't contact me anymore, they're not allowed to contact you anymore, whether it's a week or a month or a year or 5 years after that. They're simply not allowed to. And the law provides protections too. If they do contact you, well, now they may be in a position where the bank has to pay you for violating a law.
Which we've discussed on here before. But you can't just expect to tell them, don't call me again, and the debt is forgiven. That's not,
no,
I mean, you're going to, it will hurt your credit score.
It will. Of course, if you can't pay your bills, your credit score is going to take a hit, and that's the fact of the matter. But also, if you can't pay, there's laws in place that will protect you. You know, and not just bankruptcy, but you know, there's a whole list of laws, Florida laws and federal laws, that say what a bank and a bill collector can and cannot do. And one of the things they're not allowed to do is harass you.
All right, well, if you guys out there are having trouble, maybe you've reached that point where you're getting calls from the debt collectors and you've already told them that you can't pay and you're just wondering what you should do. There are a lot of resources out there for you. Again, Jim Giardina is with the Consumer Rights Law Group. There are many other places where you can go to get some help if you're in that situation. We hope that you're not, though. Linda?
Thank you, Chris.